Friends, today's story is about a beautiful girl who is desperate to do strange things with her boss. Actually, her boss punishes her in different ways for every mistake, like sometimes making her a mare and testing her, sometimes feeding her carrots in a strange way. And the most interesting thing was that the girl used to make mistakes knowingly to get punished, because she also enjoyed all this. And not only this, at night she used to go home and relax herself by thinking about her boss. But why she does this, you are going to know in this video. Welcome to our channel Maxie Blunt. At the beginning of the movie we see a girl Lee who works as a secretary in an office. Her hands are tied like this, and she is working in this condition. After this the story goes into flashback, and we see a scene of 5 months ago. Today that girl means Lee has been discharged from the mental hospital. We will know later why she was in the hospital. Lee had started liking the mental hospital. She tells the doctor that, "I will have problems adjusting to the world outside the hospital." Actually, her sister is getting married today, so her mother comes to receive her. At the wedding, Lee is standing in a corner far away from everyone, when her school friend Peter comes to her. Peter tries to cheer her up and both of them dance. Then we see Lee's dad who had drunk too much. Actually, he was an alcoholic. He drinks so much that he has to be taken to the room. Seeing her dad in this condition, Lee gets upset. Lee goes to her room and takes out some sharp things and is about to cut herself. But suddenly she changes her mind and puts all the things back. Actually, whenever she was sad, she used to hurt herself like this. Her mom and dad always fight, the effect of which falls on Lee. Sometimes she burns herself with a hot kettle and sometimes cuts herself with a knife. Actually, she does not want to commit suicide, but she gets pleasure from these injuries, and due to this she calms down a bit. One day by mistake her cut was very deep, and the doctor sends her to a mental hospital. That is why you saw that in the beginning of the story Lee was in a mental hospital. But now she wants to improve herself, she wants to do a job. That is why she has learned typing. Then one day she decides that I will throw away all the objects used to cut her. But as soon as she goes downstairs, she sees that her mother has kept all the sharp objects locked in a cupboard. Because even Lee's mother did not trust her, she feels very sad to see this. She went to throw all the stuff in the dustbin, but she did not throw it and picked it back up. From the same dustbin she gets a newspaper on which a job advertisement was written. She applies for this job. Actually, this is a job of a secretary in a lawyer's firm. After entering the office, she sees that the whole office has been destroyed. And from here a secretary was leaving crying. Then we see the lawyer, and his name is Mr. Gray. He is a very strange person, a little shy, a little angry, but a very awkward type of person. When Lee comes to his cabin, Gray is lost in his own thoughts, so Lee starts leaving from there. But then Gray stops her and starts interviewing her. His questions were very strange. He asks if you are pregnant, Lee says no. Then he asks about her family and her education. Lee shows her typing certificate. Lee types very fast. Seeing this, Gray is very impressed. Then he asks her to make coffee. Lee does not know where all the stuff is kept. That's why she gets a little worried, but finally makes coffee. Then Gray says that you are overqualified for this job. You will find this job boring. You just have to type on blank paper and receive calls. Lee says that I like to be bored. Then Gray hires her. Her mother is very happy to hear that Lee has got the job. Actually, this is Lee's first job. That's why she works very diligently. Whatever work Gray gives her, she completes it very happily. There is another lawyer in this office who works for Gray. She always humiliates Lee, but Lee gets inspired by her. The way she does makeup, Lee also starts doing the same makeup. There is a small flower garden in Gray's office. He always takes care of these flowers. One day Lee brings tea and a noddle for her boss. Then Gray says that I had an important file which I am not able to find. Maybe I have thrown it. Lee asks if I should bring it from the dustbin. Gray says yes. We see that as soon as Lee leaves, Gray throws her noddle. On the other hand, Lee searches for the file inside the dustbin. Gray is watching all this from the window. He enjoys watching Lee struggle. He gets a strange pleasure seeing people in trouble. Then Lee sees that his mother is waiting for him. But Lee is still 4 hours away from getting leave from office. Actually, Lee's mom and dad fight a lot, and his dad is an alcoholic. That's why his mother is waiting for him here to stay away from him. Lee comes back with the file and Gray says that it is not needed now. I had another copy of it. Gray just wanted to see Lee struggle. That's why he did this. Then Gray says that there are a lot of rats in the office. Please put a trap. Lee takes a lot of time to put a trap at one place. Gray enjoys seeing her struggle, but at the same time he sees cuts on Lee's leg. After some time Gray's ex-wife comes but Gray doesn't meet her, he hides. He misses his ex-wife a lot, that's why he keeps her photo near the flowers. And he is also scared of her. When Lee goes to call him, he says tell her that I am not in the office. Lee goes and says the same thing, but his ex-wife says I will wait here. Just then Lee's dad calls her. Now Lee is neither able to handle Gray's ex-wife, nor is able to talk to her dad properly. She puts him on hold and asks Gray's ex-wife to leave from there. She angrily spoils Lee's court and leaves. Lee picks up her dad's call again, but he had left the phone and gone. He wanted moral support from Lee which Lee couldn't give. Lee is now upset because her mom is waiting for her outside. Gray's ex-wife had come, and her dad had called, but Lee could not handle any of those two properly. Lee always has a set of knives with her. She takes it out and goes to cut herself but Gray sees it. Then Lee does not cut, and keeps everything away. After this we see Lee with Peter in a laundry, and then both of them have dinner. Peter proposes to Lee and Lee agrees. Then both of them love each other. Gray had also come to that laundry. He becomes silent after seeing Lee. The next morning Lee types a letter, in which she makes a lot of mistakes. Gray gets angry and scolds her a lot. He says that you have made a lot of mistakes earlier also. I used to ignore them, but from now on this will not work. Lee again types the letter, and takes it to Gray. Now Gray says that you represent me. People come to the office and see you first. But your dressing sense is very bad. You wear very cheap clothes and on top of that your makeup is also not good. You make noise with your feet while typing. This will not work from now on. You will have to change yourself. In the next scene, we see Lee in Peter's house. Peter has brought Lee to meet his mom and dad. Peter's mother tells him that Peter always talks about you. He likes you very much. Peter's sister is getting married next month. We all want you and Peter to get married on the same day. Lee gets tensed after hearing about the marriage. She likes Peter, but is not ready for marriage yet. The next day Gray calls Lee to his cabin. Gray says, imagine a client's call comes and you have to receive it. Then show me how you will do it. Lee shows it but Gray does not like it. He tells Lee that you have to talk loudly, you are confident. It should look like this. Gray trains her. Then both of them sit and talk. Gray asks Lee if you went on a date to the laundry that day. Lee says yes. Gray says do you love that boy and want to marry him? Lee starts blushing after hearing this, and says I am still not sure. Gray says I am also shy like you. I am your boss but our relationship should be a little open. You can share your problems with me. I can help you. I have seen you cut yourself. You think that your pain will go away from that wound. But it is not so. Lee agrees to this. Gray asks her to promise that you will not cut herself again. Gray also knew that her mother comes to pick her up. Gray says that from today you will go home alone. This will make you feel very easy. Lee likes all these things so she smiles. Gray captures her. After office, Lee tells her mom to go home and starts walking. Lee comes to a park. Lee walks alone for the first time in her life, and she feels that Gray is also walking with her. One day, Lee again makes a mistake in the letter. Gray calls her to his cabin and asks her to bend in front of his table. And after that, Gray punishes her by slapping her behind and Lee enjoys it. She feels that Gray is controlling her. After going home, Lee asks her mother to remove all the sharp objects. Lee promises that I will not cut herself. Lee throws away all the sharp objects with which she used to cut herself. Friends, in the beginning of the movie, we saw Lee with her hands tied. In fact, that was also a punishment. What Lee has to eat, how much quantity to eat and how to eat. She asks Gray all this. At night she imagines Gray and pleasures herself. Lee was very happy with all this, and she makes mistakes every day to get punishment. She wants Gray to punish her, trouble her, tease her. One day Lee asks Gray if I can stay with him for the night. Actually, Lee wants to take this relationship with Gray forward. But Gray understands and refuses her to stay. Gray understands that Lee has started liking me, and that is why he starts maintaining distance from Lee. Then one day Lee was with her friends, and one of her friends says that my boss wanted to spend some loving time with me. Lee doesn't mind that the boss does such things with his secretary, and she supports it. She also says that my boss is the best and I like him. In the next scene we see Lee's boss. They see Dad in the hospital. His health has deteriorated due to drinking so much that he had to be admitted. Gray ignores Lee now. That's why Lee was upset. On top of that, Lee breaks down seeing that her dad's condition was not good. For moral support, she goes directly to Gray's house to meet him. Gray asks what's the matter. What are you doing at my house so late at night? But here Lee is unable to tell him anything, and she leaves from there. To get attention, Lee now starts making mistakes intentionally, but Gray now ignores her. One day she comes very close to Peter, and spends her loving time with him. Just like Gray punishes her by hitting her on the back, she asks Peter to do the same. But Peter is unable to do that nor is able to make her happy. And here we come to know that Lee likes this the most, and making him happy is not everyone's cup of tea. One day she puts a worm inside a letter. Gray finds the worm, and thinks that it's enough. Now he has to punish her. He calls Lee to his cabin, takes off her clothes and asks her to bend in front of the table. Lee thinks that finally Gray will come close to her. Lee is very happy. But Gray starts teasing her. He drops sperm on her backside and asks her to leave the cabin. Lee's clothes were already ruined, and she was not happy either. Lee comes to the washroom and starts cleaning her clothes and imagines Gray. One day Gray feels that all this is wrong. Whatever mistake Lee makes in typing, he keeps it framed. He breaks everything. Gray had an album which had photos of Lee and other secretaries. He burns all of them. This means that whatever Gray is doing to Lee, he did the same to other secretaries as well. The next day he fires Lee and tells her that whatever we are doing is wrong. Lee says I likes all this and wants to stay with Gray, but Gray still fires her. Lee leaves crying just like his first secretary had left. Lee now tries to forget everything and looks for another job, but she doesn't like any job. She keeps standing outside Gray's office. Gray had appointed a new secretary, and he has also changed all the locks, so that Lee cannot come inside in any way. Then one day Peter proposes her for marriage, and Lee also says yes. Peter's mom makes Lee wear her wedding dress. At that time, Lee realizes that I loves Gray only. She returns the ring to Peter and runs to Gray's office. Here Lee proposed to Gray. Gray says that what we both were doing we cannot do it for the whole life. Lee says why can't we? I am ready to stay with you for the whole life. But now Gray wants to test her. He says go and sit on that desk with your hands on it, and don't get up from there until I tell you to do so. Lee does exactly that. When Peter comes looking for her, Lee clearly refuses him saying, I cannot marry you. And Gray is watching all this secretly. He calls on the landline, and Lee picks up the receiver with her mouth. Even then she does not use her hands. Gray leaves from there. Lee's mom, dad, sister and friends, even Peter's parents come to meet her. They try to feed her, but she does not listen to anyone, and relieves herself by sitting on a chair. 3-4 days pass like this. The media people come. Everyone starts getting to know about Lee's hunger strike. Finally Gray comes. Lee had passed his test. Gray feeds her with his hands, then takes her in his lap, and brings her to his house, and bathes her. Then both of them come very close to each other, and spend a very good time with each other. Both love each other very much, and both start living like a couple. If seen the mental condition of both Gray and Lee is not good. Gray enjoys seeing people in pain, and Lee enjoys hurting himself. Both of them cannot marry normal people. She could not be happy with Peter. That's why Lee left Peter. And this is the reason why Gray also got divorced. Both of them go to an island and get married, and their honeymoon was also strange. Both of them openly get intimate with each other alone in the forest. Both of them are very happy after marriage. And here we see that this story ends at this moment. Friends, if you liked the video, then like the video. If you are new on the channel, then subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.